Hi guys, I hope that you're all doing well. Today's lesson is about the reduction formula, which is the first trigonometric the first trigonometric technique that you guys have to master. Now, the first thing that I'll do in this video is to update our case diagram. Remember, I told you guys that our case diagram is important. Whenever you deal with trig, you need to know how to sketch it. And in this video, I'll update the case diagram. So as I said in the introduction video, you start with the y and x axis, There's your x and y axis. Now you have 0 degrees, 90 degrees, 180 degrees, 270 degrees, and 360 degrees. All right, I also said that we have CAST in our case diagram, which stands for cos, or sine, and tan. And I also mentioned that our case diagram is divided into 4 quadrants. We have quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, and quadrant 4. So in this video, we'll update our case diagram. The first step, in the second quadrant, draw a little arrow and write 180 degrees minus theta. And in the third quadrant, draw a little arrow and write 180 degrees plus theta. And lastly, in the fourth quadrant, draw a little arrow and write 360 degrees minus theta. This is your updated case diagram. So I told you guys in the previous video that in the first quadrant, all the trig ratios are positive, meaning sine, tan, and cos are positive here. And in the second quadrant, sine is positive. As you guys can see, we wrote sine here, which means it's sine's quadrant. Sine is positive, however, tan and cos are negative. And in the third quadrant, you have tan, which means tan is positive as it's tan's quadrant. However, sine and cos are negative here. And lastly, in the fourth quadrant, you have cos, which means it's cos's quadrant. Therefore, cos is positive. However, sine and tan are negative. Now, if you still don't get what I mean, that's okay. Let's do a few examples. And after this lesson, I guarantee you that you will understand how the case diagram works. So let's start with the first example. Let's do sine 180 degrees minus theta. 180 degrees minus theta. So when reducing, you have to start with what's inside your bracket. You have 180 degrees minus theta. That tells you where to focus on your case diagram. 180 degrees minus theta. Let's check 180 degrees. You have 180 plus 360 minus. That's 180 degrees minus theta. Here it is. 180 degrees minus theta is in the second quadrant where sine is positive as it's sine's quadrant, right? So you write this as sine theta. When you reduce, you just drop this and write your angle, which is theta. Okay, now let's do the second example. I know that this looks kind of funny, but it's okay. We'll do more examples, and as I said, you'll understand how to reduce. Now let's do cos 360 degrees minus theta. You check what's inside your bracket. You have 360 degrees minus theta. Let's look for it on the case diagram. There's 360 degrees minus theta. 360 degrees minus theta is in cos's quadrant, right? Which means cos is positive here. Therefore, your answer should be cos theta. Now let's do the third example. Tan 180 degrees plus theta. 180 degrees plus theta, let's locate it on the case diagram. There's 180 degrees plus theta. It's in the third quadrant where tan is positive. You have to look at this trig ratio. Where tan is positive, right? Tan is positive in the third quadrant. So you write this as tan theta. Now let's do the fourth example, tan 180 degrees minus theta. Tan 180 degrees minus theta. What's inside your bracket? You have 180 degrees minus theta. Let's look for 180 degrees. There's 180 degrees minus theta. It's in the second quadrant where tan is negative, right? Because it's sine's quadrant. In the second quadrant, tan is negative. So you write this as negative tan theta, as it's negative in that quadrant. Now let's do the fifth example. Let's do sin 180 degrees plus theta. Sin 180 degrees plus theta. What's inside your bracket? You have 180 degrees plus theta. Let's go to the third quadrant, 180 degrees plus theta. It's in the third quadrant where sine is negative, right? Therefore, your answer should be negative sine theta. As it's negative in that quadrant. Let's do the second last example, number 6, tan 360 degrees minus theta. Right, what's inside your bracket? We have 360 degrees minus theta. Let's locate it on the case diagram. There's 360 degrees minus theta. It's in the fourth quadrant where tan is negative, right? So your answer should be negative tan theta. Now let's do the last example, number 7, cos 180 degrees minus theta. 180 degrees minus theta. What's inside your bracket? You have 180 degrees minus theta. Let's locate it on the case diagram. There's your 180 degrees minus theta. It's in the second quadrant where cos is negative, right? So your answer should be negative cos theta. And that is how you reduce in trigonometry. Now let's do an example that you guys should expect in an exam. The first example, it's a fraction. In the numerator we have sine 180 degrees minus theta, and in the denominator we have sine 180 degrees plus theta. And as I said, you always need a case diagram. This is a rough sketch of a case diagram. Please make sure that you always have a rough sketch of this whenever you write your exams or when you deal with trigonometry in your classroom. So in the numerator we have sine 180 degrees minus theta, right? We start in the numerator, 180 degrees minus theta. Let's look for it on the case diagram. There's 180 degrees minus theta. It's in the second quadrant where sine is positive, right? So your answer should be sine theta. You have sine theta in the numerator over 180 degrees plus theta. Let's look for it on the case diagram. There's 180 degrees plus theta. It's in the third quadrant where sine is negative. Okay, so this should be negative sine theta. Now, whenever you deal with trig ratios, please make sure that your answer is always in a bracket, provided that you have a negative trig ratio. If you have negative sine theta, negative cos theta, negative tan theta, please make sure that you put it in a bracket, and you guys will see how helpful this is as we do more complicated examples. Okay, now we have sine theta and negative sine theta. What do we do now? We have a fraction, so you have a numerator. In our numerator, we have sine theta. In the denominator, we have sine theta. So we are allowed to cancel. This cancels with that. What are we left with? We have a negative here. So our answer is negative 1. If you have one term in the numerator and one term in the denominator, then you're allowed to cancel. If we had, for example, sine theta plus a certain trig ratio, we wouldn't be allowed to cancel. But in this case, it's just one term in the numerator and one term in the denominator. So I'd recommend that you guys practice solving equations with fractions. Now let's do the second example. Second example, tan 180 degrees minus theta multiplied by cos 360 degrees minus theta all over tan 360 degrees minus theta. Now the first step would be to apply your trigonometric technique. I'll write down the steps for you guys so that it's easier for you to revise, and I hope that after you're done with this lesson, you'll try different examples that are featured in your textbook. So step 1, apply trig technique. Apply trig technique. What is the trig technique that we are dealing with in this video? We are dealing with the reduction formula. So tan 180 degrees minus theta. Let's look for it on the case diagram. 180 degrees minus theta is there in the second quadrant. And in the second quadrant, tan is negative. So your answer should be negative tan theta in a bracket. This is where I'll show you guys the importance of the brackets. Now let's do multiplied by cos 360 degrees minus theta. 360 degrees minus theta, let's look for it on the case diagram. There's 360 degrees minus theta. It's in the fourth quadrant where cos is positive, right? Because it's cos's quadrant. 360 degrees minus theta, there it is. It's in the fourth quadrant where cos is positive. So this should be multiplied by cos theta. And let's go to the denominator. We have tan 360 degrees minus theta. 360 degrees minus theta. Let's look for it on the case diagram. There's 360 degrees minus theta. It's in the fourth quadrant where 10 is negative, right? So your answer should be negative 10 theta. Now, the second step would be to multiply your signs. Multiply signs. So we have a negative 10 theta multiplied by a cos theta, a positive cos theta. Negative multiplied by positive. This cos theta is positive, right? Negative multiplied by positive is negative. In math, when you multiply a plus with a minus, your answer is always negative. And if you have a negative multiplied by a positive, your answer is always negative. And if you have a negative multiplied by a negative, your answer is always positive. Okay? In this case, you have negative multiplied by positive, which is negative. So you can just rewrite your entire numerator as negative 10 theta multiplied by cos theta. All over, you have negative 10 theta. You just have one term in the denominator, so you can just say negative 10 theta. Write it outside your bracket. Now we have a fraction and we have one term in the numerator and one term in the denominator. You guys know the terms are separated by the plus and the minus sign, right? So we only have one term in the numerator and in the denominator, therefore we are allowed to cancel. We have a negative here which cancels with a negative, and we have a 10 theta, therefore we are allowed to cancel. We are left with cos theta. So your answer here is cos theta. Now let's do the last example. Before I continue, I'd like to let you know that this video was brought to you by Spotify. Spotify is a music streaming app that gives you access to over 100 million songs. You can stream your favorite artists for free, or you can get the premium version and have access to features like downloading music and streaming offline. For more information, go to open.spotify.com. Link in the description. Now let's do the third example. It's a fraction. We have sine 360 degrees minus theta multiplied by 10 360 degrees minus theta over cos 360 degrees minus theta. What's the first step? Step 1, apply your trigonometric technique. Let's start with the sine 360 degrees minus theta. Let's locate it on the case diagram. There's 360 degrees minus theta. 360 degrees minus theta is in the fourth quadrant where sine is negative. Therefore, your answer should be negative sine theta multiplied by 10 360 degrees minus theta. Where's 360 degrees minus theta? In your case diagram, there's 360 degrees minus theta. It's in the fourth quadrant where 10 is negative. So your answer should be negative 10 theta. All over cos 360 degrees minus theta. Let's locate 360 degrees minus theta in the case diagram. That's 360 degrees minus theta. It's in the fourth quadrant where cos is positive, right? So this is, your answer should be cos theta, excuse me. What's the second step? You have to multiply the signs. We have a negative times negative, which is positive. So this becomes sine theta multiplied by 10 theta all over cos theta. There isn't much that we can do in the denominator. So your final answer is sine theta multiplied by 10 theta over cos theta. And that is how you reduce in grade 12 and grade 11 and grade 12 trigonometry. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next video in which I introduce the cofunctional co-ratios. Please like and subscribe, and shout out to Spotify for making this video possible.